Today, we're exploring something that surrounds us every day but often goes unnoticed: the buildings we live in, walk by, and gather around. Architecture isn't just about bricks and blueprints, it's a language, and like any language, it reveals something deeper about who we are, what we value, and how we see the world. Around the globe, from ancient temples to modern skyscrapers, what we build reflects the soul of our civilizations. Let's take a closer look at how architecture isn't just the backdrop of our lives, it's one of the clearest mirrors of our identity. The architecture of belief, sacred spaces. Let's start with the places people build not for living or working, but for believing. In Europe, towering Gothic cathedrals like Notre Dame in Paris rise toward the heavens, their soaring spires and intricate stained glass windows pointing to the divine. These structures were built to awe and humble, to make human beings feel small in the face of something greater. Their size and complexity reflected not only religious devotion, but the centralized power of the church and the resources it commanded. In contrast, look at a Zen Buddhist temple in Kyoto, Japan. Here, simplicity reigns. Clean lines, natural materials, minimal ornamentation. The buildings blend into the landscape rather than dominating it. These structures reflect a very different kind of spirituality, one rooted in balance, subtlety, and inner reflection. Even among indigenous groups, sacred architecture exists. The Dogon people of Mali build shrines from mud and wood, often decorated with symbolic carvings that encode their cosmology. These spaces, though simple in material, are rich in meaning. In every corner of the world, religious and spiritual architecture reflects a culture's values: grandeur or humility, fear or peace, community or solitude. The politics of space, power in stone and steel. Architecture is never neutral. It can include or exclude, invite or intimidate, celebrate or suppress. Take the imperial palaces of Beijing or the Versailles Palace in France. These were not just residences, they were statements. They proclaimed the absolute power of emperors and kings. Every column, every courtyard, every manicured garden whispered, "We are in control." In the Soviet Union, monumental brutalist architecture emerged. Huge, gray, imposing. It was meant to reflect collective strength and the might of the state. These buildings often sacrificed comfort for message. The individual was small, the system eternal. Contrast that with modern democratic architecture. Look at parliaments in Scandinavia. Open, glass-filled buildings that suggest transparency and accessibility. Architecture in this context sends a message too. Government is not above you, it's part of you. So whether it's marble palaces or concrete towers, what we build says something about how power is held, shared, or resisted. Climate and craft, adapting to the environment. Architecture is shaped by the environment just as much as it shapes the environment. In Morocco, homes are built with thick earthen walls that absorb heat during the day and release it at night, a perfect adaptation to desert life. In the Arctic, the Inuit constructed igloos from snow, ingenious temporary shelters that use the only available resource to trap heat in the coldest of climates. In Southeast Asia, stilt houses protect against flooding, allow ventilation, and even keep snakes out. They're not just practical, they're cultural artifacts, refined over generations. Modern urban planners sometimes forget this. Glass skyscrapers in hot climates require massive air conditioning, working against nature rather than with it. But increasingly, designers are returning to the wisdom of vernacular architecture, using local materials, aligning buildings with wind and sun, and designing with nature rather than against it. What we build reflects how we relate to our environment. Are we fighting it or flowing with it? Community and identity, how cities tell stories. Cities are living archives. Walk through Istanbul and you'll move from Roman ruins to Byzantine churches to Ottoman mosques to modern apartments in just a few blocks. The city tells its history not through textbooks, but through stone and space. In Barcelona, architect Antoni Gaudi's influence is everywhere. His fantastical buildings like the Sagrada Familia turn the city itself into an artwork. His organic forms and mosaic-covered facades reflect a Catalan pride and a break from rigid classical norms. Meanwhile, in New York, the skyline is a statement of ambition. Skyscrapers shout, higher, faster, stronger. But look closer and you'll see layers. Brownstones in Brooklyn, Art Deco in Manhattan, glass and steel in Hudson Yards. Each building speaks of its time, its culture, its economy. Architecture reveals not just who built the city, but who lived there, who ruled it, who dreamed in it. The architecture of exclusion and inclusion. Not all architecture is welcoming. Gated communities, redlining through zoning laws, urban highways cutting through low-income neighborhoods, these are forms of spatial control. Sometimes what we build divides more than it unites. In the United States, public housing projects were often intentionally isolated, reinforcing segregation. In South Africa, apartheid architecture separated people by design, not just by law. But inclusive architecture exists too. In Medellin, Colombia, cable cars now connect impoverished hilltop neighborhoods to the city center, integrating areas that were once cut off. In Copenhagen, public spaces are designed to be shared. No gates, no entry fees, just open parks, clean harbors, and communal bike lanes. What we build can create walls or bridges. Personal spaces, private meanings. It's not just public buildings that matter. Our homes too reflect who we are. In Tokyo, where space is scarce, houses are often tiny but ingeniously designed. Foldable furniture, vertical storage, sliding walls all reflect a culture that values efficiency and subtlety. In India, joint families live under one roof, often in homes with open courtyards that facilitate social interaction across generations. In many Arab countries, homes are designed inward. Windows and courtyards face the interior, respecting privacy and family life over outward display. Even the messiest teenager's room says something about priorities, personality, and comfort. Architecture isn't always about monuments, it's also about meaning, and meaning lives everywhere. When we build to remember. Some buildings are not for living, praying, or working, they're for remembering. Think of memorials. The Holocaust Memorial in Berlin, the 9/11 Memorial in New York, the Hiroshima Peace Park in Japan. These spaces are designed to evoke emotion, reflection, and collective memory. But remembrance isn't always monumental. In Rwanda, genocide memorials are often simple. A church left untouched, a school wall with bullet holes. The architecture of pain speaks softly but powerfully. We build to remember joy too. Festival grounds, wedding halls, childhood homes, these spaces hold emotional weight that blueprints can't measure. Architecture remembers for us, even when we forget. The future of building. What comes next? As we move into the future, what we build will continue to shape who we are. Green architecture, smart cities, floating homes, underground parks, buildings that breathe. The boundaries of design are expanding, but the core question remains. What does this say about us? Will we build cities that isolate or connect, that harm or heal, that consume or conserve? At Local Experience, we believe that every wall tells a story, every doorway is an invitation, and every city is a reflection of its people. So next time you walk down the street, look around. You're not just seeing buildings, you're seeing beliefs, histories, struggles, and dreams, etched into concrete, wood, and glass. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again for more stories that reveal who we really are.